welcome to another Vinny Talks Things. I'm your host Vincent LaRose, and the 2025 MLB season is officially over. The Dodgers are your World Series championships back-to-back years, and it was a crazy season, man. It's all over. The Dodgers win the first game of the season, and they win the last, of course. There's going to be talks about now if baseball is going to be played in 2027 with the CBA and all that controversy going on. A lot of owners wanting a salary cap, a lot of fans wanting a salary cap, all around, whatever. That's going to be for a different video. It is now officially the off season. I don't believe any team can actually sign anybody until November 6th, so that is probably when we'll start seeing signings. We probably won't start seeing anything till towards the end of the month. Usually starts getting going early December, and winter meetings, of course. But the Yankees need to get to work. Even if we re-sign Cody, make a couple of trades here or there, I think there's a lot of work to be done to now compete with the Blue Jays, as they've shown how good they will be next season, and to be able to beat the Dodgers. It really looks like the Dodgers are probably going to take the NL every single year for the next couple of years. They just have so many guys under contract. Shohei's going to start pitching again, and he's going to start pitching at the beginning of the season again, and dude, the Dodgers are loaded, man. They're loaded. At the beginning of the year, Hal Steinbrenner was asked what he thinks about the Dodgers and their signings and their different signings. I believe his quote was, don't exactly quote me on this, but it was something along the lines of, well, let's see if everybody can stay healthy, which is just something purely ignorant to say. This team has not only embarrassed you, but Blue Jays gave them their money's worth, but they have now won back-to-back. So maybe their method is working, buddy. Maybe you should take some notes. Wow, that was God. I hate reading all the early season quotes after the season's over. It just makes me so angry. But Yankees got to get to work. Obviously, in past videos, I've discussed trade options. I've discussed what the Yankees need, and new things come up and go. But I think really right now the Yankees need to focus on getting one pitcher. Doesn't need to be a superstar pitcher. Even if I talked about the Freddie Peralta trade. That's a great fit. I doubt we're gonna trade for Screwball or sign any free agents like Dylan Cease or anybody like that. It's probably going to be a simple trade for, Peralta would probably be the top end of the talent we would get. Our pitching staff is pretty good. I know we don't have Cole and Rodon to start the season, but even then, you still have Fried, Heel, Schlittler, Warren, any other guys that can fill in there. The rotation will not be in a bad spot unless somebody gets hurt to start the season. Then now you're down 3 of your top 5 guys. In middle season, you should have Cole at the 1, Fried at the 2, Rodon at the 3, Schlittler probably 4, maybe Heel 5. Maybe you swap those 2. Maybe somebody's hurt and Warren's in the mix there. Warren's going to be an important piece next season as well. There's going to be injuries. He's going to get a good amount of starts. It wouldn't surprise me if we go another year with him getting 30 plus starts. But I think pitching-wise, for starting pitching at least, the Yankees maybe need to add another guy. It doesn't even necessarily need to be a top-end guy. Our starting rotation is pretty good after Cole comes back. There is that worry. Cole is coming back from Tommy John. It might take him a little while to get going, blah, blah, blah. But playoff-wise, because this team is, with the guys they have on now, should still make the playoffs. Playoff-wise, this rotation is in a good spot. I just think one more guy would really solidify that. Maybe push Heel out the rotation, throw him in the bullpen. But somebody's gonna get hurt. It's always gonna happen. There's gonna be opportunities. The Dodgers showed us that this season there's never enough pitching. There's truly never enough pitching. So I would really focus on one more guy. The bullpen needs to be completely torn down and put back together. Obviously, you're going to still have Bednar as your closer, more than likely. Weaver's now gone. He's a free agent. I doubt he signs for the Yankees because he was getting offered, or there was rumors that teams would like to offer him a starting pitcher contract, and that just makes no sense for the Yankees right now. If he wants to come back as a reliever, I'm all for it. I think he just had an off season. We've seen his potential, we've seen his ceiling. We probably haven't seen the best he possibly could be. Sorry, my computer shut off there. That was weird. We probably haven't seen the best he can be, so I don't see why you wouldn't resign him if you got the opportunity to. But we're probably going to non-tenure Mark Leiter Jr. I don't think it makes sense to pay him the money he's getting. Probably non-tenure Scott Efros. But you still have, I think Warren's going to be in the mix as a long man for parts of the season. Maybe not. He might just stay to a starter. It really just depends injury-wise what happens to the Yankees. But, you're still going to have Bednar. You're going to have Duvall. Bird is probably going to be more likely on the MLB roster next year. Would really make no sense to me trading for him and keeping him in the minors. You still got a couple guys down there. Loaizaga, technically you could, put in place your team option, but within the next couple of days we'll see how that goes. But the bullpen, you have a base, so it would be awesome to sign a guy like Helsley, who's now a free agent. If Robert Torres decides to opt out of his contract with the Padres, something like that. I'm not against getting another closer-esque guy. And then I feel like once Duvall is a little bit more comfortable, as we saw in the playoffs, he pitched well, so he's a little more comfortable. Put him in a little bit of a better spot, and there shouldn't be too much of an issue. And then we get to the offense and the defense, of course. So obviously, I think the Yankees' number one thing on their board right now, if they had a full whiteboard, number one is probably re-sign Cody Bellinger, or Kyle Tucker, maybe. It really just. Sorry, my keys fell out of my pocket. Now the dog's gonna bark. You done? Yeah, they're done. Probably sign Cody, but like I said, top of the board. Probably sign Cody Bellinger or sign a Kyle Tucker. Kyle Tucker, as much as I would love to have him, I don't think he's a great fit for the Yankees for win right now mode. Only because Cody Bellinger is so versatile in the outfield. I doubt they're gonna re-sign Grisham, so you're gonna need somebody in center field every day. I know there's talks about maybe throwing Dominguez back into his natural center field position. His natural position, actually, when he was in the Dominican Republic, was catcher. But anyways, he's better fit for the outfield, of course. But from what I've seen from Dominguez, I really don't want him I don't want him in Yankee Stadium center field. It's huge. There's an option of calling Spencer Jones up, as he actually is a pretty decent center fielder. But again, Yankee Stadium center field's huge, and it's not an easy center field to play. It's not right field. You can't just stick him in right field and he'll be fine. You got Judge out there. So it really just depends on a lot for the Yankees. I do think they're going to have to trade an infielder, whether that be Wells, so you can get a right-handed hitting catcher, whether that be McMahon, and get a better, maybe a bit. You're gonna lose some defense if you trade McMahon, but get a better hitting third baseman, right-handed bat. We need a couple more right-handed bats. I made a video on this, and some people, you complained that the Yankees didn't have enough lefties a couple years back, and now you guys are saying that they need more righties, and it's like, you're not okay. Primarily, pitchers in baseball are going to throw right-handed, but the most dominant pitchers in baseball right now are lefties. You have Max Fried, Tarek Skubal, Carlos Rodon, a bunch of guys around the league. Justin Steele, I don't know if he's going to pitch next year. I know he had an injury. Garrett Crochet, and there's so many more. Some of the most dominant pitchers in baseball are left-handed pitchers, and when we play games, we need righties in the lineup. Guys like Ben Rice, Cody Bellinger was really good against lefties, but Ben Rice, Wells, Chisholm, McMahon, they're just not good fits in that lefty-lefty role. They're just really not. You can look at their career stats. They are not good against lefties. Wells technically was better against lefties last year, but the numbers are still bad. It makes no difference. The Yankees need to at least get rid of one lefty and throw a righty in there, especially if you're going to want Ben Rice in an everyday starting role, whether that be first base, whether that be catching, whether that be DHing, based off the injuries we have. We need more right-handed bats. I'm not upset if the Yankees have 6 or 7 left-handed bats in the lineup against a right-handed starter, especially if we have right-handed bats on the bench, because if they bring in a lefty from the bullpen to face one of these guys, you can just throw a guy on the bench in. But when you're in a spot to where every single day, I don't know why my computer keeps doing that. in your spot to where every single day you have 5 or 6, maybe 7 lefties in the lineup, and you have no choice but to have 3 or 4 in the lineup against a left-handed starter. It's just not a good fit for the Yankees, and I don't think it's going to work. I know McMahon was way better. We got way better offensive numbers from McMahon than Peraza and DJ LeMahieu. I know Jazz doesn't really count. He didn't play that many games at third base, but I think it'd be a better fit to have a right-handed hitter at third base. McMahon's contract is also quite large. He's getting paid $16 million next year. There's a lot to go into it. I don't think they trade him. You wouldn't trade for a guy with years for no reason. Jazz is technically going into his last season of his contract before he's a free agent. Although the Yankees need to re-sign Jazz, I think it's a must. But there's a lot of different areas the Yankees need to focus on. They do not have a ton of money to work with. They have maybe $65 to $75 million, depending on what Cody wants, the way they can play around with the contracts. Maybe you backload them a little bit to help out this year, because you have probably about 3 years left with Aaron Judge to win a World Series before Judge probably starts to maybe not fall off, but not give you the production that he has been over the past couple of seasons. He's on his way to win his 3rd MVP, should be his 4th, and it's just we need to win now. I have no problem with the Yankees. Well, I don't see why they wouldn't just go, maybe instead of just sticking to that 301 mark on the luxury tax, go to 320, go to 330, something like that. I know it's a lot of money to spend, but with everything going on in baseball, after 2027, you might not even have the opportunity to do so. And to waste Judge's talent and to not be able to win a World Series, to waste Cole's talent, all the great years we've gotten from Cole. Fried's in his prime. Fried is still going to be good for the next 2 seasons. Rodon, you have all these pieces there. You just need to add, maybe not even superstars, but just key role players. I think the Yankees need to do a lot better with building a roster. Stay away from home run or bust guys, so many strikeout guys. We have so many guys who strike out at such a high percentage. Even our contact guys like Volpe, who we thought were going to be contact oriented, strikes out almost 30% of the time. It's like 27, but that's horrible. The Yankees need Brian Cashman, and the GM crew needs to do a lot better, building a better just baseball roster, guys who can bunt, who can run the bases. The Blue Jays are an exact example of that, and they almost won the World Series. I mean, they were that close to winning the World Series. It's just, obviously, something has to change, and we've been saying this for 2-3 years now. Something has to change up top. I just don't understand. You're such a franchise that holds such a high pedigree, but this GM you've had for over 20 years has only won you 1 World Series, and he still has a job? It just doesn't make it makes no sense to me. And I do think Brian Cashman does build good rosters. I just don't think he builds World Series rosters at the end of the day. He builds rosters to make all the money back on the payroll, make more money for Steinbrenner, and get the Yankees. He builds a roster to get the Yankees in the playoffs every year, because it's not about we want the best team in baseball. It's about get a team good enough into the playoffs, because anything can happen. And that's not the mindset you need to have. You need to have the mindset of, I want to build the best team in baseball, and sometimes you can't do that. It is about luck. The Dodgers obviously have the best roster on paper. It's not even close. But if you can get different pieces that can help in different ways, just get you slightly better than you were before, a little bit better than you were before. Get guys who are going to be a little bit better in the situation than some of the guys on the roster. That could just be your little bit of luck that you do need if you get to a World Series to finally win one. Look, something has to change. I don't think Aaron Boone is the problem. I don't think the coaching staff is the problem. I think it's definitely the front office, man. The front office is obviously the problem. The front office needs to, whether they you don't even need to fire anybody, but you guys got to sit down and be like, we need to make a change. The way we've been going at it for the past couple of years, needs to change. And I like what they did. I like where they were like, all right, we can't just outscore everybody. We're not going to win a World Series like that. We need to get starting pitching. And you guys went out, you got Garrett Cole, you decided to sign a guy, Rodon, you signed Fried. Like, that's good. You've worked on your starting pitching. Your starting pitching is good. They've always genuinely had a good bullpen. Last year, I think it was a fluke. I think they can still build a really good bullpen. And then get the couple of pieces you may need. We don't need Kyle Tucker, although it would be great. And the reason I say maybe don't get Kyle Tucker is not because I don't want the Yankees to get Kyle Tucker, because I don't think the Yankees want to go over that 301 threshold. And if they sign Kyle Tucker, we're not going to sign that much else. And it's crazy to think, about all the years the Yankees were like this, where it was like, we spend no matter what. We'll spend whatever it takes to win a World Series. It's crazy to think that we're as Yankees fans, we're like, all right, we can't sign Kyle Tucker because we'd rather allocate that money to different pieces that could help more in a group to win a World Series, more than one guy. Because that shouldn't be the case with the Yankees. The case should be, he's the best player in free agency right now. Sign him, re-sign Bellinger, and get the rest of the pieces you need, and you have an amazing roster. Like, if you had Cody and Kyle Tucker, you probably trade off Spencer Jones or Dominguez at that point, get another great arm out of the bullpen, get another good starting pitcher, just work, upgrade at third base, maybe upgrade at short. We need to upgrade at shortstop, but maybe an upgrade at shortstop, although I don't think they're going to do it. That is what's going to win you a World Series, but it's probably not going to happen, so that's why we talk about, Tucker is probably not a great option. Maybe we allocate that money somewhere else in Bellinger, and maybe 2 guys out of the bullpen, Bellinger, maybe make a trade, sign a good third baseman, figure something out at third base, whatever it is. But there needs to be a change in the front office. It needs to change. It has to get away from all the analytics. Analytics are good. They can help you a lot, but not when you primarily focus on them. So get away from that focus. Let Aaron Boone actually manage his team. Don't BS us and tell us you weren't involved in any of the writing of the lineups. Maybe it wasn't specifically you, but your analytical team. It has been said by multiple players, your analytical team goes down, they compare lineups with Boone, and they make changes based on what they think is best. Just get away from that. Let the manager write the lineup. Let the manager decide who comes out the bullpen. All right? I'm not going to get too much more deep into it. We know what the Yankees need to do. The Yankees know what they need to do. And after watching the Dodgers win another World Series 2 times in a row, over the past couple of years where we've been like, another team won't ever go back-to-back again since the Yankees because baseball's different now, it's possible, and the Dodgers are proving it. The Dodgers are proving that spending money does win World Series. So that's where I'm going to end it. We don't have to get that much deeper into it. But as always, thank you guys for watching. YouTube side, I appreciate it. Podcast side, if you're listening to it. Remember, I do daily shorts, daily updates, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. You guys know all that. If you don't, it's Vinny Talks Yanks. And then on Instagram, it's Vinny.Talks Yanks. But I'm going to end it there. I hope everybody has a wonderful morning, night, day, whatever time you're listening to or watching this. And as always, go Yankees.